Howdy, folks. We've got another low elo cast here, and today we are here with vahrenkampj in red and Dunno in blue. Now, these players at the time of this recording were both roughly around 600 elo, um, and you can kind of see that in that they don't really have the greatest build orders or anything like that, but we're gonna take a look at how they play, or at least how we're gonna focus more on red at this point because they have kind of some more interesting mistakes I think that we can look at. So I'm gonna start playing here, and you can see immediately blue immediately starts queuing villagers. Now for red, I'm not totally sure what happened here. Maybe they forgot that they had started to play the game. Maybe they panicked. I don't know, but you can tell this time this is already a minute of idle time, or yeah, actually it's getting closer to a minute now. This is really bad. This is really not the way you want to start a game, and if you're more around like maybe 1,000, 1,200 elo, this almost would be just something that you just want to quit the game because you're already two vills behind. Yeah, it's just it's bad, but you know, they're 600 elo. It's not the biggest deal. You can see the two houses. We've got kind of a build-ish order going here. Going to the cow. We got 4 on food. Going to the next one on this cow. That's good. We're getting some scouting. So you can see that they kind of have a semblance of the build order. Now this villager, I bet you, yep. You can see they're trying to get to this cow. But they went here, stood here a little bit, couldn't find one, and the villager AI immediately goes to the next one and just kills it, which isn't ideal. You don't want them collecting from multiple at a time. It's not the worst mistake, but this is why you try not to have more than 2 cows under the TC and maybe one of them a little bit further away. Try to make sure that your villagers have, those first 6 villagers have a clear line of shot, or a clear ability to gather. Very early boar. This villager in normal builds would go to wood, and you've got a wood line scouted here. A little late scouting it, but better than nothing. Not the most ideal lure here. You can see this is kind of far from the TC. And we've got straggler tree. That's, I mean, just build a lumber camp. You've got the wood. Drop a lumber camp here. Toss some villagers out. Don't go for the straggler trees. It's the big thing is that your villager has to move between the straggler tree and the town center, and you drop a lumber camp right here. Their distance is much closer. You can see we found the other boar. You definitely want to keep scouting here. You want to make sure that you figure out where all your resources are very quickly, so that your opponent can't steal your sheep if you've already gotten to them. You don't want your scout to be idle too long. Scout idle time is not the worst if you're trying to manage your early villager economy, but it's definitely something you want to keep going back to. As you can see, they are moving on now. Okay, we've got this boar is about to be finished. This cow is about to be finished. We've pretty much almost got the entire economy on food, which is a lot of food right now, and also not making villagers with any wit. This is a bit late to go to this boar. I mean, it's not great to go to the boars at this point anyway, but if you want to do one after another, you can see this boar is going to run out of food before this one gets back, and then these villagers are just stuck here idle. So not the most optimal thing. That's kind of small. Also, again, this is not the time to take boar, but okay, I guess if you were following a regular build, this would be the time to take boar because you're on around 10 villagers. But they took their first boar way too early. And you can see again, we've still got 9 villagers on food, taking this third cow here, taking this boar, 2 on the straggler tree. This is a very unbalanced economy at this point. Oh, and yeah, that wasn't great either because I don't believe they dropped off the town center first, and all that food just disappears. And you can see with these hunters, you get a lot of food there. They probably lost 50 food. That's a whole villager just doing that. We're now going to mill. Found some sheep. Okay. I happen to know because I've watched this before that the other sheep are in here. Um, Red doesn't actually find them for a while. This is why if you see things like this, just take your sheep, click some waypoints in here before sending them to the town center. That you would see the sheep. The sheep can't grab the sheep, but at least you can see them for your scout to come back around. And Red has no idea where these sheep are now, which isn't great because you kind of need those, especially because this boar is about to be finished up. Being housed is really bad, especially this early in the game. You only got those villagers out. I would put 2, maybe 3 villagers on these houses. You get them up that much quicker, and that's really important. Okay, we're just sending them all to berries, which I guess kind of makes sense. This is the only food source left. At this point, you can see at this point the build is just really weird. Normally, by the time you're going to berries, you're going to wood, you're going to gold. Yeah, this isn't even a build, really. And that already, if you just got a nice build order, you would just tighten this up quite a bit. You can see you got 17 villagers. You've probably got another 4 or 5 before you want to start going to feudal. And that probably isn't going to happen because if you drop at this point another 3 villagers, you can see that brings you down to this much food. And in the time that these villagers are going to take to collect, to train, you're not going to collect. Oh, there goes the scout. That's a little unfortunate. You're not going to collect enough food. So either you have to create more villagers after that 20th villager or 21st villager, which isn't super ideal, or you have to idle your TC. And you can see they're just creating more villagers. It's a very unbalanced economy. Going to gold way too soon. Unless you're doing like a man-at-arms build, which I don't think they are. You can see blue is going up at 17 pop, or 17 villagers, sorry, 18 pop, which isn't super ideal either. Because, as we covered in other videos, if you go up that early, you're not going to have enough villagers to collect resources while you're going up to take advantage of the new technologies and things. At the same time, if you go up too late with too many villagers, you're going to get swarmed by your opponent. You are going to have a ton of resources, yes, but you're not going to have anything you can spend it on. You're not going to have army. You're not going to have defensive buildings because you just spent too long going up. Like with a solid build at 12 minutes, you can probably be expecting scout rushes. And if you get scout rushed and this is what your base looks like and you're not even on your way up to feudal, yeah, you might as well just GG right there. You could also cancel those villagers as they were coming in and that was 150 food right there. You could have gone up. Now we're at 24 vills. And it's still making vill. Like, at this point, your opponent just went up and you're not even close and you're not doing a fast castle, hopefully, because this is not a great map for that. Then you need to just cancel these 2 and go up right now. You're housed. No, don't create more. There you go. And they're going up. Okay. A little late, but you can see having those villagers in that queue means that food is not being not available for going up to the next stage. And I do this all the time when I'm in late feudal to go to castle. I've got 7 villagers queued up, and just it takes some game sense at that point to realize that you can just unqueue them and go up. Okay, and we've got some militia here. Blue built those a little while ago. These, at this point, should be in the eco. Their job is not to survive very long. It's to mess with your enemy. They might be trying to go for a man-at-arms rush, but in this case, they need to be producing things. They should be producing more villagers. They should be researching man-at-arms. They're not doing either of those things, so their militia are just kind of chilling here, checking things out, looking at the scenery, not doing anything. This is good though, these house walls. You could easily wall here, you could wall here, and keep out a man-at-arms rush or a dress or scouts even as they come in, and that would protect that wood line. Going to farms, these, especially if you're building these farms right at this point, it might be better just to click horse collar first, because you can see these only have 175 food. If you click horse collar and then start building the farms, horse collar researches fast enough that by the time your first farm is up, it's in, and these will have 250 food. Okay, these are still just kind of moving around. Oh, they're going in. Yeah, that great militia attacking the house. That'll get them. Getting eco upgrades. I saw this eco upgrade come in, and you can see even these militia, they're not doing anything. They're not even men at arms yet, but they idled that gold. That's great. That's great value right there, because that's 4 villagers that aren't doing anything. Add to that for blue that they were up first too, means that that drush didn't actually hurt their uptime compared to their opponent. Now in red's position, yeah, the farms, yeah, build up your farms. You've got tons of wood. Start building your military buildings while they're hitting your barracks. That you don't care about your barracks right now. Don't worry about this. You're probably not going to be building anything out of this for a while. Anyway, start building archer ranges or start building stables. You're floating 600 wood. You could easily build either kind of unit. You've got 2 man-at-arms. And you can see what I was saying here. The walls, these went up real quick. Got a wall here too, because you know they went around here, which means they might be, there they go. Perfect. That was good reflexes, or good instinct, because they might be coming around here to try to hit this. Getting some idols, still creating villagers, but you've still got idols in your TC, and that's not super ideal. And here we can see stable. Okay, yeah, that's good. Either, just a couple scouts. You get 3 scouts. You've got the food for it. That cleans up those men-at-arms easy. And then you can even go forward. Where did they go? Okay, they're just chilling here. Blue decided that they were going to pay attention to something else. There's a hole there. That can be a little hard to see, especially if they don't have small trees mod like I do. That tree is probably this tall, which means that they can't really see this easily. Okay, scouts, we got archers too. You need to be producing out of these. You can see they're floating tons of resources. Get the scouts, get some archers, because you know your enemy already hit you. They're coming back to hit you again. These units are still out here. They're probably going to be coming forward. Oh, there we go. 10 archers. Honestly, if you're going to be building that many archers, it might be good to go 2 ranges. If you're going for archer rush anyway, you probably want to go 2 ranges because they produce slowly enough. There's a man-at-arms rush. It's dead. That also is a thing you can do, but it's not always great to assume that your opponent's going to do that. Now you saw how all those villagers started going to wood. That's because there are 2 buttons. There's a send villagers back to work, and there's an ungarrison button. And if you click send villagers back to work, they return to whatever they were doing when you garrisoned them. And if you click ungarrison, they go to where the gather point is set. And the gather point, well, now it's set to this one tree here, so they all tried to go be lumberjacks and Jills and go cut down this tree, which obviously is not what you wanted. Yeah, at this point, actually, red's doing okay. Might be good to get another scout just to go forward, see what your opponent's doing, because you've seen man-at-arms from them. That usually is to cover something, either to cover a fast castle or to cover, well, actually usually just to cover a fast castle, but it could also be covering a tech switch into archers, which we can see is actually happening here. You need to know that, because red doesn't see this here. They can't see their opponents making archers. You need to know what, okay, now we're going 3 archer ranges. Yeah. Anyway, you need to know what your opponent's doing. And then what single scout, you've got the food. 3 archer ranges is a bit much. Usually, at this point in your game, you can handle constant production from 2. If you try to do constant production from 3, you're going to start running out of wood, you're going to start running out of gold. And especially as you're trying to go up to castle, which it looks like actually they're really close. You could actually click castle now at this point. That would be a great idea. You get way ahead of your opponent. Nope, instead you've queued up 5 villagers. you don't have enough production. You can see it out of the wood to keep 3 ranges going. And in that case, why build them? You know, you need that wood. You could use that wood for additional farms. You could use that wood for additional houses. There's a lot of things you could do that with that. Walling, full walling would be very useful here. Luckily for red, blue is also just kind of slow. They've got 6 military. They're not producing any more. You can see some archers coming in here. No upgrades on either side. At this point too, see that wood, this could be a blacksmith. And you've got the food to get almost all the base archer upgrades, which is what you really want here. Another man-at-arms rush, easily defeated. Go up to castle. You've got the buildings, you've got the resources, you need crossbow. You can see your opponent tried to go for another man-at-arms rush, which tells you that they are not going to castle quickly. They're still building units, kind of expensive ones at that. And you've got so many resources. You're like, look at all this food. That's castle age right there. Just click up. You see blue's going to castle. They clicked up, which, oh, and you can see they're actually walled here too. As a matter of fact, they're they're being extraordinarily greedy and walling the entire map. Well, except for this here. Wouldn't recommend this because let's say I get 3 scouts. I get through this wall. Your main base is all the way over here. You're not going to get a villager to this. No way. You want to leave this villager here, then they get idled for all that time? No. This is a really greedy wall, and red should punish this and could easily punish this. You see they're literally just walling off their entire, I guess, third of the map. Of course, red doesn't know that because they don't see any of these walls. This isn't a bad fight. None of you has any upgrades, which would be nice to get. That's a lot of skirmishers. Skirmishers, I wouldn't go this heavy into skirmishers right now because think about what you've seen from your opponent. You've seen men-at-arms, which your archers take care of and skirmishers don't. You've seen spears, which, yes, skirmishers are good against, but your archers also will take care of them. And you've seen skirmishers, which they don't have upgrades and you just build enough archers. These skirmishers are going to die to men-at-arms easily. They will die to other skirmishers as well. And also, I'm pretty sure your opponent is Franks, which means that they probably are going to go cavalry. Skirmishers die to cavalry too. So this is way too heavy in skirms, and also this is a lot of food and wood, which again, you could go to Castle Age. Or, because you are Cumans, you could go to a second town center. If, you know, that is a legitimate thing. On the other hand, you've got so much food. You need to make use of this. If you're not going to do anything with it, then build a market or, you know, build some more houses. Whoa, okay. There's the houses. Again, maybe some more villagers on these because houses is kind of important this stage of the game. Yeah. Castle Age. At this point, you need to get the castle. Your opponent's in castle. They're getting all the upgrades. You can see longswords starting to come in. They have a forward barracks here. They can easily get into your economy, raid it. You're using feudal age units, which if they have a good oh, there we go. Finally, castle age comes in. You see how much excess food they have after that. But unless you have a really good army and really good defenses, which you probably don't, you can see how quickly that villager just went down. These are 11 damage. This archer's gonna do nothing to them. So that archer went down. This force needs to come back right now. Like that. This force needs to come back. You need to delay right now until you get to Castle Age. You get that crossbow up, which can deal with these. What you've got right here, you can see these skirmishers are doing absolutely nothing, and they're dying so quickly. Yeah, skirmisher is not a good choice against infantry. Okay, the main army comes back. With this, if these were all archers, again, you might have a chance against this. You can see they are doing some decent damage because there's no blacksmith upgrades. At this point in Castle Age, they could have 3 pierce armor, meaning these archers with no upgrades would do 1 damage. It's lucky that your opponent doesn't have that. And also lucky they decided to build not that many military. But you're almost to castle. Don't engage yet because you can see the flags here. As far as you know, they may have 8 long swords in here. That'll probably, you'll get some of them, but they will kill this. You just want to wait till you're in castle age, get that crossbow upgrade, get your blacksmith upgrades, and then you'll be fine to take this fight. Okay, we just got to castle, getting the crossbow, getting good, getting thumb ring, no villagers. Get those villagers out. You've got 2,000 food in the bank. Get more villagers out. You had, even if you got rid of all your farmers, that's 40 villagers right there. If you put all of that, well, actually more, 48. If you put all of that in the villagers right now and didn't farm again until you finish those, you would have such a good economy. You would still have 80 villagers, which would be amazing. All right, they're taking out this barracks. Now you see you've got crossbowmen now, no upgrades again, but they're better. They do more damage, they fire faster with thumb ring, they're more accurate. At this point though, they could have a barracks full of 15 longswords and just send them out and kill most of this. But they're not building a lot of military, which, you know, you can't, you shouldn't be capitalized, or you shouldn't be expecting your opponent to make mistakes like that. You need to be ready for them to, you know, be producing the units. Blacksmith upgrades would help. You see these skirmishers do 2 damage. They do have a bonus against crossbows and spears, not against swords, and with that +1 pierce armor, or with that 1 pierce armor, they're doing 1 damage. You can see they did actually get an armor upgrade now. And you can see these do go down because of the crossbows. And also because they're walking in one at a time. But this, you see how many were in there. If blue had sent those out earlier en masse and just charged in, they would have just destroyed all this. Okay, we've got this scout. Nice little raid here. Somehow got in there and is just going to fight this house. Okay. Okay, we're taking down the barracks. This isn't the worst thing. You don't want to forward barracks. Might be good to get something other than crossbows, or make some more crossbows. And now there's knights in your economy. And elite skirm. This isn't great. If there's more of these, which I doesn't look like blue has more of these, but you don't know that from this position. They will eat this. If they have 10 elite skirm, that'll take quite a big chunk out of this. And yeah, luckily this knight is just fighting this farm rather than killing vills, because they could have gotten 3 kills by now. And just passing. I guess they thought the skirms were more important than the knight. I mean, okay, Step Lancer. Step Lancers, not the worst idea. We got more knights coming in here. We got the scout just chilling, watching over this. More stables. Okay, yeah, you can fight the scout. You don't want to fight the knights like this. You will kill these knights with all these villagers, but they will kill enough of your villagers. You can see a lot of these are weak. Where are they going? They just garrisoned all of them, I bet. Step Lancers aren't the worst idea here. Yeah, you can see they have a decent amount of damage. And there's not that many knights. Honestly, I would have just kept going further into crossbows here because you've already got them. Get the upgrades for them. But yeah, this still fighting that house. All right, going back to at this point, it's time to move your wood line. Maybe there's some safe. There's a safe one here. There's a safe one here. Here. Even this one. I don't know if I go to this one because you've seen knights come in from this direction. You know that your enemy's aware of that hole. So you might either want to wall it up or move your eco from there. And this is a good time to move it. Getting more stables is good. I like that. You do want to actually build those though, just so you have the army. Fighting the archer range, and you can see that these are good raiding units. They do decent damage. I don't know exactly how much they cost, but one of their cool things is they actually have an attack range. You can stack them on top of each other. Of course, that's not happening here, but it's kind of cool. I mean, that's a lot. That's 11. If you had all these stables up, which they're coming up, these would get produced much quicker. You want to get those buildings up. They're teching into throwing axemen. And you can see, again, blue is making 2 stable. Oh, yeah, you see this knights came back. They knew this was weak. They came in. Of course, the archers are helping, but blue's making villagers from, well, they were making villagers from 2 town centers. Red is still on 1. You want another town center up at this point. That's part of the reason why you go castles, to get that second town center and third town center. And still so much food. So much food. This should be villagers at this point. This needs to be villagers. Okay, we've got a little raiding party in here. We're killing this house. You know their eco's here. You want to head in with this. It's not a lot of step lancers, but you know they can do some damage. They can kill some vills pretty quickly. Maybe send these in as well, because you know there's a hole. No, they're going up here at to this house. This is not a priority target. You know that because your scout cavalry is here taking it out. And now the enemy knows you have step lancers here. I mean, they probably already knew because you took out their archery range. That's not going to take out these step lancers. That's three spears and a couple of throwing axemen. You want to, at this point, it's good to keep the production up, and I want to say red is doing really good with this, with these 4 stables. But you need to raid. You need to raid blue's eco. It's possible they've even walled this, but the fact that they walled this whole thing, and again for blue, this is why you don't build walls like this. You see, they got in here. Now your eco, oh, yeah, you see, they haven't walled. Your eco is just completely open. And just look at how fast that villager goes down. These need to raid. Get them into blue's eco. Their eco's better than yours, but you can change that really fast. In fact, at this point, I would say in red's position, yeah, your eco's not in great shape, but you just need to micro these units a little bit and just raid. And get these in there too, because this is what, 33 of these? That's crazy. That's a huge army. You've got a huge army right now. You need to use it. You need to get it in there. Oh, and not going in that way. You made a hole here. They plugged that? Oh, not even. Partially plugged. And you can see blue is walling up because blue knows that red is here. That isn't responding super well with these vills, but they know red is here. They're walling up. You need to get into their eco before they're able to protect it. This is good. A bunch of villagers here. This is actually kind of a... that's a decent woodline. There's a lot of villagers there. You could probably get all these because you see blue's not paying attention. Your step lancer's doing so much damage. Yeah, you see how many vills that was. And now red's ahead in vills. You've got these skirms here. Yeah, just send some step lances, deal with them. Don't worry about them. You see they barely do any damage. Even elites. They're not going to threaten your economy that much. You can take care of them if you need to. You see they did move their wood line here. Again, this is still unprotected, this wood line. You've no knights have come in here. You do have your crossbows here. But yeah, like 10 knights come in here, they would clean everything in this area. And that would be really bad. Okay, we're going here. Oh, there's a wall. What are you going to do? Actually, it's done kind of a decent job walling this part. I like this castle here to protect that gold. Now you see there's villagers here. Move your guys in. And we're going to attack the stone walls. Okay, I wouldn't recommend that with, you can see how long that's taking. And the time it would take you to get down this wall, you could get a villager over here, build a siege workshop, get a ram. You know, blue has so long to watch you slowly whittle down this wall to prepare some defense. You can see they're building mangonels now. And here's the raid. Good. These spearmen should go down quickly. They do have upgrades, but they're spearmen. You know, you can easily take this with step lancers. Maybe you could have microed that a little bit better, but that's still okay. You know, there's 7. There's just not enough spears right now to make a difference. This is all open. Yeah, you should get some really good raiding in here. Might be nice if these would come in through what is probably still a hole, or I doubt this is... Oh, no, it's walled. Okay, well, I guess that makes sense then. If you went after, no, you got spears in here now. You got mangolas, yeah. But that was still a good raid. Yeah, blue's at 30 villagers. Of course, blue hasn't been producing villagers, but still. Okay, more of these. You've still got 56 troops. Ting, 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 ting. So, an interesting thing happens at this point, and I'm actually going to speed up a little bit. So you can see there's actually a couple pockets of military from blue here. They don't really do anything the rest of the game. Blue will actually ting, 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 ting down this entire wall. You see, blue never finished this. Yeah, this whole wall, which just takes forever. We're almost an hour into this game now. It's a little ridiculous. All right, so it's yeah, they're building houses. They need their economy's kind of going on. Oh, finally getting the blacksmith upgrades. That's excellent. Not going to these golds. You need to fix your eco a little bit. Actually, this is a really nice neutral gold back here. Okay, so red is here. Again, you know the eco's here. You know there's a couple spears in your way. You need to raid with this and not run into their castle with all of this. So what I'm going to do now actually is I'm going to pause this and I'm going to stop the recording for a little bit and I'm going to fast forward until the time when red actually does something with this army and you can see blue is going to imp. And I want you to watch the timestamp, okay? Just watch that timestamp. All right, so we're back, and as you can see, it is now almost 15 minutes later. So look what we've got now. Red sent forward some villagers. They built a town center. They built a castle. They built some siege workshops. This army, blue sent a couple sorties in, some knights, some throwing axemen. Red defeated it and just didn't do anything with it. 115 military to 38. Now, when we started off, none of this existed. There was a town center here. Now you can see there's castles, there's trebuchets, there's an overchop here. Blue has had 15 minutes to boom up, which they haven't really done, and prepare defenses and even raid, which they also haven't done because this eco is completely open. But the thing is, red could have ended this game 15 minutes ago because look at this army. Look at how many troops are here. So, move forward kind of fast that this mangonel is on attack ground repeatedly. Okay, this treb goes forward, which isn't a great idea. There's no defenses for it. It's going to go down pretty quick. But this lets blue know, hey, there's scorpions here. Trebs come out. This castle is pop capped. Why? How are you pop capped? You have this huge army. Just go in. And this is the importance of scouting. Red has no idea that blue doesn't have anything. This army could wipe everything. But now you've got Trebs attacking the castle, Trebs killing archers, Scorpions shooting a fortified wall, which is going to take forever to take down. You see all of these steppe lancers got ungarrisoned because this castle is now going down. Petards, which actually take that out pretty well. More Trebs here. This castle's down, and what does red do now? Now they have Trebs slowly sniping their camels. And this castle's going down. And red decides, let's go forward. I've got military, there's a hole in the wall. And blue gives up. Because of course blue gives up. They have 38 military and red has this. So this should never have been allowed to happen. This first castle could have been denied. Most of these steppe lancers were already here before that castle went up. The camels came in later, but these steppe lancers alone could have cleaned all this up. So I guess the big lesson here to take away from this, aside from other ones, make villagers, build orders, things like that, is if you have army, find out if your opponent does. Because a lot of times, like you can see here, if most players, 900 to 1,000 ELO would have been booming behind this. They would be up to 100 villagers. and you could have used your military to stop that. Blue didn't even have that. Blue was just not doing anything that entire time. I mean, they were building castles here, they were building some wood stuff here, but really, other than this defensive line here, their base pretty much looks the same as it did when the initial army was here. You got to scout. You got to get in. You got to see what's going on. Probe your enemy because you might find out that they're weaker than you would expect. Anyway, I hope this was enjoyable. I hope this was informative for y'all. And I'll see you next time.